Hello, and welcome back to our podcast, Saturday Recovery with Dr. Nolan Clausen at Midwest Movement. This is the Bober Academy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bober, 8-year NFL career, started at every position on the O-line. I'm the founder of the Bober Academy, where our mission is to train and develop superior linemen to dominate on the gridiron. So Nolan had this idea to start this series and publish it on Saturday mornings after football games for all you football players out there, especially linemen, to recover on Saturday morning, right? You go have a great game Friday night, and Saturday morning you go watch film, and you sit around the rest of the weekend watching football and stiffening up. So last week, if you want to just refer up there, if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll put a little link to last week where we did kind of a full body mobility range. But this week we are going to get into the hips. Now, before I do that, I just want to quickly remind you, if you are listening to this on a podcast, click the subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the button down there or the other way and click subscribe and get notifications, and on all the social medias, retweet, like, share, comment. We'd love to hear back from you, how this is helping you, maybe some examples. So Dr. Nolan, let's talk about the hips, right? So we're going to pretend that as if the hips are sore and you got some things going on in your hips. Linemen, you should be doing this regardless, right? Linemen need to have fluid and flexible hips. So show us what linemen especially, but any athlete should be doing on recovery day for their hips.
Okay. So if, like Chris said, we're going to have you refer back to our beginning routine, the routine that we put out last Saturday. Basically, we said in that is to take a mental note of the things that are sore. Like Chris said, even though if your hips are not sore, we still would love you to break out and do some of these hip mobility drills, especially as linemen. So if when we were doing our hip motions and we had quite a bit of soreness, discomfort, um, tightness, anything like that, these are what we would do next to try to break out those hips. So everybody's probably used a foam roller at one point in their life. Some people use them too much. Some people don't know how to use them. Well, we're going to teach you how to use them for the hip. So first thing, we're going to roll out our glute muscles. So we're going to take this foam roller. You're going to sit on it. Okay. We're going to lean to the side that we want to work on. So we're going to lean. We're going to set up. Now, the same side, we're going to take that foot. We're going to put it on our other knee, and we're just going to do small motions, just rolling out that glute. Okay. If you find what I like to call a spicy little nugget, spend a little bit of time, just quick movements in that spicy little nugget. There you go. We're not spending a whole lot of time. So then we want to be even. So we're going to use our other side. So we're going to use this side, and we're just going to roll. And then we're going to find those spicy little nuggets. We're going to roll into those. Okay. So that's how we work those glute muscles. Next, we're going to work the groin. We're going to work some of those groin muscles. They're important for that hip too. So we're going to take this foam roller and we're going to put a frog leg on it. And we're just going to roll that inside part real quick. Find a spicy nugget, spend a little bit of time. And I know I'm demoing this, but this is really how long you should spend foam rolling. You shouldn't spend too much more than what I am demoing, honestly.
Really?
Okay?
So you don't want to do, I mean, sometimes I do it. I find a hot spot. I kind of linger for a while, way longer than what you're doing. Why
Yep.
do you really want to go a little time?
The research shows that longer doesn't even affect the muscle even more. So basically, you're just trying to stimulate that muscle to relax a little bit. And then once you got that muscle stimulated, there's really no benefit after that.
Okay.
So yeah, they show that 10 seconds is really like the best amount of time in those areas. Okay, after we've kind of softened those tissues a little bit with foam rolling, we're going to get those hips moving a different way. So we call these windshield wipers. So what we're going to do, we're just setting up right here. We're just going to take our knees, try to touch the inside knee to the ground. Good. We're just going back and forth. Okay. So what it looks like here, We're just getting range of motion in those hips. And we're just going 10 times back and forth, just trying to get some movement in the hips. Okay. Now, this is our last, and this is the most important thing that we're going to do for the hips. This is a drill that I think all linemen, all athletes should be doing to open up their hips, because it, one, opens them up, and two, we're putting that hip into its full end range of motion, and then we're going to make it work in that full end range of motion. Okay. So the first one, we are going to work external rotation of this front leg. And you don't need to know what external rotation means. It's just the rotating of the hip out, but that's what we're working. So what we're going to do, pretend our shin is a cliff. We're going to look out over that cliff. We're just going to lean forward. And all we're doing is a 10-second stretch. You're going to feel a lot of stretch in this back hip or this down hip back here. And we're just holding a 10-second stretch. What we don't want to see is people doing this and rounding the back. We want to stay up tall, leaning out over a cliff. Okay.
So it's not how far you go. It's really just how good of a stretch you're getting, right?
Yep. So then once we get 10 seconds of stretching, we're going to do leaning forward still, 10 seconds of pushing our knee and our ankle down into the ground. We're pushing into the ground. Pretend you had scales underneath your ankle and your knee, and you're trying to put 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds of pressure down into the ground. And you can support yourself right here, but we're just trying to push. We're getting those muscles to start working. Good. After we get done pushing for 10 seconds, we're going to try to lift that foot and ankle, or the knee and ankle, off the ground. Okay. We're trying to get the opposite muscles to start working in that end range of motion now. We're going to hold that for 10 seconds.
Yeah, and you're making that look easy, but that's not really easy to do. So
no,
you'll be surprised if you can't get it off the ground very far.
Right.
Just keep doing it. You'll get better, right?
Yep. I'm shaking when I was doing that. So 10 seconds of lifting. Then we're going to go right back into 10 seconds of stretching, leaning forward, looking out over that cliff. Good. So we hold that for 10. Then we're going to push that knee and that ankle into the ground, almost like we're trying to lift ourselves up off the ground that we're pushing so hard. And I'm actually doing these right now. I'm working hard through them. I'm starting to sweat. So we're getting recovered. We're getting that flushing of everything going. So it's okay to sweat the day after a game. Good. So 10 seconds there. Now 10 seconds lifting that up off the ground. You look at, you could probably see that I'm shaking quite a bit, actually.
I can hear it in your breath just a little bit, you know?
Yep.
You're a little out of breath because those big muscles are on the hips, but they're little ones we're working on. They need to get some work there and get some blood flow.
Okay. So we did that 2 times on this front leg. Now we're going to focus on this back leg, staying in the same position, but now keeping this front knee down, we're going to try to rotate over that back leg. So we should feel some work or stretch in the front part of this hip. And we're just doing a 10-second stretch here.
So you're pushing the knee down and trying to maybe lift that ankle up a little bit. Is that what?
So right now, all we're doing is stretching. We're just
a stretch.
Turning, just turning. So that's 10 seconds there.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are going to push this knee and this ankle into the ground.
Mm.
So now I'm working. Probably can't see it because I got tiny little quad muscles, but they're starting to flex. They're starting to pop out because I'm pushing really, really hard. Good. After we get that push into the ground, now what we're going to do, this is really hard, but we're going to try to lift the heel off the ground. See how I'm kind of leaning away, try to cheat?
Yeah.
I'm pushing this knee into the ground and I'm lifting that heel. If you need a little assistance, pull it up there and then don't let it fall. You're just working to try to hold it up there for 10 seconds. I am cramping right now, right there.
Yeah.
It's okay. Work through that cramp. 10 seconds isn't very long. Good. If you need to shake it out like I do, then we go back. We're just going to stretch. We're going to try to go 10 seconds, stretch here. And now I feel like I can go quite a bit further because I got those muscles working. Then we're going to push the knee and the ankle into the ground. We're going to push really hard. Same thing. If you had a scale under that ankle and that knee, you're pushing 50 pounds of pressure. You're working really hard. You're trying to get those muscles to start learning that it's okay to be in this position. Then once you have 10 seconds there, keep that knee planted. Try to lift that heel up. If you can't get that heel up, think about it really hard. Really try to get it. It'll come. I work on this stuff quite a bit. I show a lot of clients this. So I've gotten better at it over the years, but it takes a lot of work. And you're holding for 10 seconds. Good. Relax that. Okay. So you would do that two times each way.
Yep.
On each leg. So then you would switch your legs and you would go through that same routine.
Yep.
Once you go through that routine, basically the next step would to be go back to our beginning thing, do our hip range of motion. And if it feels better, we know we worked it and we got some of that soreness out, some of that tightness out.
Nice.
That's it.
And that's such an amazing group of exercises for your hips. And I just stress hips so much for offensive line play. I always talk about pad level, and instead of low pads, I say low hips win. So for you offensive linemen out there, if you want to win more blocks, you need to become more functional at a wider range of motion in your hips. And these are the drills that will help you do that. Also, as the season goes on, it's really easy to ignore and neglect the stretching, the range of motion, the mobility stuff, just because you get tired, you get busy, you have homework, you got a girlfriend, whatever it is. But if you can do these stretches, at least after games, but I would say as an offensive lineman, I did hip stretches every day, right? They were that important. So this routine for all athletes, but especially linemen, athletes that will need to get low, it's just a game changer. So Nolan, I appreciate it. That was amazing. We're going to share this with everyone out there, but don't forget, guys, do your hip mobility drills. These are amazing. Every lineman listening to this, every coach that coaches O lineman, or if you know an O lineman, share this with them, because I promise you it will make them a better offensive lineman, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Nice. Dr. Nolan, thank you so much for joining us again. Midwest Movement, if you want to find them, it's midwestmovementelkhorn.com. Nolan is a movement specialist, and he's working with lots of football players now, getting them recovered to get back on the field, get back out there and compete on the gridiron. So go ahead and see them. They're on Elkhorn. They're up by Rick's Meats and that plaza right there off 204th Street. They do a great job. So Nolan, thank you so much for coming on again. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. I know I learn a lot, but I hope you guys out there learn a lot too. Before we close up, thanks a lot, Nolan. Before we close up, a reminder, click the subscribe on your podcast on YouTube and hit us up, man. Send us some messages, questions. If you have any other areas of the body that you want to specifically ask Dr. Nolan about, send them on over and we'll put them on a future episode. So Nolan, thanks again, buddy. We will see you next time.
Yep. Video yourself doing these things and share them with us. We'd love to see it.
Yep. Well, wherever you're finding this, you're going to see a tag for Midwest Movement Elkhorn, and just go ahead and tag them on it, and that'd be great. So Nolan, we'll see you, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.